Insurance companies never want to pay claims.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear this a lot. And I mean, let's just, look look at the elephant right there in the room, right? Some claims do get denied.
Yeah.
Um, but that's why we say, when we're talking earlier about your policy, that's why it's critical to understand there are exclusions in a policy. There are
Mhm.
things that aren't going to be covered.
Mhm.
There are situations when you're at fault or or you haven't taken care of things, and insurance is not designed for that.
Mhm. Yeah, and in our case, a lot of time we do see that not all the time, of course, but a lot of time claims are denied because one, we didn't purchase that coverage we want,
Right, right.
right? Or two, I think you and I talk a lot about this because we are big fans of policy reviews. So
Mhm.
sometimes when, if you took out a policy 20 years ago and you never did a policy review with your agent, like an honest review and make sure you have enough coverage on your policy, that can
Yep,
create issues because there's not enough money, right? There's not enough
you
coverage
got
on the
it.
policy to
Yep,
pay
you got
out.
it. And I think one of the main culprits in this arena is you don't want to pay a premium for the coverage that you need. If you're only shopping based on premium, you're putting yourself way at risk.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we talk about this in some other episode, but for, one example, a lot of auto insurance policies, I think really all of them out there where, car rental assistant is not something that is built into the auto policy,
Right.
right? Isn't something that you're gonna have to pay extra to get, and it's optional. So it's really unless you tell your agent, like, yes, I do want that coverage in case I get into an accident. I need to have a
Hmm.
way to get around. Then,
Hmm.
and unless your agent asks, but unless you give the A-OK, that coverage is not going to get added to your policy.
Right, right. And I mean, let's face it, you can always go rent a car on your own, if you don't have the coverage, but that can be quite expensive if your car has to be in the shop for up to 30 days, more than 30 days in the instance of the last time my car was in the shop due to an accident. It can be a pretty hefty price tag on that. So you have to really think about what do you really need, in the event that that bad thing happens. The days when it's good, well, that's all good. But it's that day that something bad happens when you need the policy. That's what you have to think about.
Absolutely. And speaking of policy, Christy, m- oftentimes when we see claims get denied too, is because we're submitting that claim where there's an exclusion,
Hmm.
right, of the cost of the loss that is really absolutely not covered on the policy at all, right?
Yeah.
Not covered on the policy at all.
Because it's due to wear and tear on your home and not, a sudden
Accident.
incident, an
Mhm.
accident that happened. Exactly.
Right. So what we see, guys, and this is not to defend the insurance company, oftentimes we have a problem with claims denial is about misunderstanding of why claim is being denied.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I really do, I am an agent, but it's like we said, we're not here really to defend the insurance company today. But I really do feel like most insurance companies are not out there to cheat people, but they are, let's face it, they're out there to make money just like any other business, just like, you are in your business. So they are going to stick to the contract language that they've written and provided for you, and that's why it's so important to understand what that means.